Hello, welcome to today's lesson. Hope y'all had a great day. Let's go ahead and get started with our lesson objective. So, our lesson objective for today we will explore how fossil fuels are made. All right, let's go ahead and get into our vocabulary. First off, we need to figure out what is a fossil fuel. So, fossil fuels are a natural, non renewable fuel, such as coal, oil, or natural gas, formed over a very long time from the remains of living organisms. So, what that basically means is fossil fuels are something that happens naturally in Earth. We don't make them as humans, and they're non renewable, which means that once we use fossil fuels, then we can't make them again. Once we use them, that's it. They're gone forever. So some common examples are coal, natural oils like gas and what you use to fill your cars, and then natural gas, like the gas that you use to light stoves. And they're formed from natural organisms or from living things. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and keep going. So we have pressure. So pressure is really important for making fossil fuels. So what is pressure? Pressure is the force of objects pushing on other objects. So when we push down on something, we are applying pressure. In the same way, that is how fossil fuels are being made, is by forces that are pushing down on these remains of living organisms to create fossil fuels. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. All right, let's go into how are fossil fuels made. So the first thing that happens is that plants and animals die and sink to the bottom of the sea or really any type of ocean, but they were once alive. And this could be this was hundreds and thousands and millions of years ago. So they were all plants and animals. They're living in the ocean or they're living on land and they fall into the ocean. But eventually they all die and they sink to the bottom of the ocean or waters or lakes or rivers. Right? So that is the first step in making fossil fuels. Then after that, we have our second step is that where plants and animal layers get covered with mud. So once the animals pass away, they get covered with mud and leaves and different various other things at the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of some kind of water. So that is the second step that happens in making fossil fuels. From there, we have layers of sediment, which is little pieces of rocks that, or it could be sand, but that's also a really small piece of rock too. More layers of sediment keep layering on top of our decaying or our dying, our dead animals and plants over and over and over again. So we keep getting layers and layers and layers and layers and layers over our decomposing animals and plants. And then we have pressure. So from all of that weight being stacked on top, there's pressure that is building and building and building and building and building on top of these decomposing organisms. Right? After that, we actually have this will now split into two different ways depending on how everything was layered and what was formed. And we will, from that pressure over time, over millions of years, we are going to either get coal or we're going to get oil and natural gas. And we will go into those specifically a little bit later. But our steps are essentially animals and plants die and their bodies sink to the ocean or some kind of water. They then get covered with mud or leaves or other organic material. And then from there, we have sediment, so like little pieces of rocks or more mud or more organic material, and they're layering on top of our decomposing animals and plants. And then pressure is applied, which will then either give us coal or it will give us natural gas and oil. All right, let's go ahead and do a review of our lesson objective. So our lesson objective for today was that we explored how fossil fuels are made. And we're going to go into it a little bit deeper in later lessons. But thank you so much for joining me for this lesson. All right, I will see you later. Have a good day. Bye.